A huge game at Old Trafford awaits on Thursday. Sociedad in the round of 16 second leg of the Europa League. There have been far bigger European games for Manchester United at Old Trafford, but in the context of what it means for Ruben Amorim, winning this competition would be a mega boost for next season. 6 games to go. Let's run through all the team news as we discuss Dorgu, Yoro, Ugarte and others, plus we run through the starting 11 and match prediction. Real Sociedad in the second leg of the Europa League round of 16 is coming to Old Trafford on Thursday. It's the biggest game we've got left this season, unless we beat them and go through to the quarterfinals, and then we keep going through. It does have, as far as big game energy goes in the Europa League, in the context of our club right now, it is huge. Big up to Batano for supporting United People's TV with our Europa League campaign. I'll tell you what, United, come on! Right, I'm going to run through the team news. Mason Mount is back in training. We'll speak about Yoro, speak about Ugarte, speak about Maguire, the changes I think we will make, and also my prediction. Let me know your prediction in the comments below. But yeah, Mason Mount is back in training. First time in 12 weeks after a hamstring, I think, injury. Was it a hip injury or hamstring injury? Not sure which. Either way, he hasn't been there for 12 weeks. I don't think he'll be risked for this game, but it looks like probably Mount's going to be back after the international break with Manu. That can't be a bad thing. No Maguire and no Yoro in training. Ugarte was there, though. Okay, it's not actually mentioned there, but Ugarte was in training. So if we take a look at the starting 11 that faced Arsenal and we think about changes that are going to happen, realistically, in terms of how Amorim has handled injuries so far, Yoro will not be risked, all right? And I think that's unfortunate for Yoro because I think he's actually been playing pretty well in these last 4 to 5 consecutive games, just slowly looking more confident and competent. Now, the question is, who starts instead of him? And the question is, does Aiden Heaven make his Europa League debut for United? He made his FA Cup debut against Fulham, and he looked pretty good. He made his Premier League debut against Arsenal when he came on for Yoro, and looked very composed in that whole second half. So there's no reason, I think, on paper, why he can't come into this team. And if you take a look at what could potentially happen to this starting 11, right? If I put Lindelof back over there, De Ligt's coming in to be the central centre-back, which I genuinely do feel is his best position. Mazraoui dropping back in to be the right-sided centre-back. You've got Heaven coming in to be the left-sided centre-back. You've got Delo switching across to be the right-sided wing-back. And Dorgu coming in to be the left-sided wing-back. We need Dorgu back in this starting 11. He's available for the Europa League games. The Leicester game is actually the third game that he's suspended for. So after the international break, we'll get Dorgu back, and he's actually been called up for the Denmark squad. That there is kind of a big shift. There's quite a few changes there. Mazraoui going in as a new right-sided centre-back, Heaven going in as a left-sided centre-back, the change of position for De Ligt, and flipping and putting Delo on the right. That's a better defensive lineup, I think. That, for me, is what I think will happen. If it's not that, then it will probably be, and I would prefer it not to be this, but it's possible. You could get Mazraoui playing there and just Lindelof playing. I would rather see Aiden Heaven play there than I would Victor Lindelof. I thought it wasn't as if he was kind of getting thrown in the deep end. He didn't look like he looked calm, settled, composed. And it's a big game. And United, to be fair, dominated a lot of what we saw against Sociedad. They really didn't have too much of a threat on the goal. Ultimately, it was our chance creation, which was a big problem. Now, if you're looking at midfield, it's going to be Bruno and Ugarte. As long as Ugarte's fit, it's Bruno and Ugarte. But what I would say is Casemiro's been pretty decent in these last few games. Certainly away at Sociedad, I thought he was decent against Arsenal as well. Fulham game as well. Did he start that Fulham game? Can't actually remember. But if I'm looking at this game, right, and I think the same thing can be, I suppose Casemiro doesn't really apply in this sense. I'll explain what. I've just changed my mind there. I think Ugarte starts. I think if there's going to be a player that maybe is slightly risked for this game, it will be Ugarte. Bruno playing in midfield and doing what Bruno does. But the thing I stopped myself from saying there, right, is I want to speak about this lad, Garnacho. Because we're looking at the options here, right? We're looking at the options from the bench. You can't have Chido, who, of course, is not suspended. He wasn't registered, so he can't be involved in this. You've got lots of youngsters up here, Fitzgerald, Jack Fletcher, Scandon, Morehouse. I don't know how many will be involved or if any will be involved. But we look at United's attacking options, wafer thin. And there's 2 ways you can look at Garnacho's involvement in this game. Number 1, Garnacho starts in the starting 11. Or he comes off the bench. One of those 2 things is going to happen. Now, if you bring him into the starting 11, I think you give United more of an opportunity, or do you? Then you step back and you go, well, Garnacho's arguably more impactful from the bench. I think it's more the fact that I would rather see United go out and try and attack this game in the first 60 and then conceivably maybe sit into a low block in the last 30. And it's not what United is, but it's certainly working. We've got a good low block. Amorim has got this team defensively set up pretty well, and they can close the gaps in the spaces quite well. So hypothetically, if there's two situations where I'd rather see United maybe start the game slow and grow into it, no, I'd rather see us start the game faster. Famous last words, man. I know that we don't score early goals. I know that the first half goal against Arsenal was one of the first we've had in a long ass time. Somebody who I definitely think will start is Xerxes in this game. Xerxes surprised me in terms of fitness in these last 2-3 games. I expected there to be more of a drop-off from him. It's not as if he's been playing at an incredible level, but I think he's just consistently been a good player for the team. That's how I would describe Xerxes' performances. So I would probably keep Eriksen in, and I'd probably keep Xerxes in. Now, of course, Højlund is the other option. You could well see this. In fact, I think I probably will do this. Which, of course, was exactly what happened away at Sociedad. Højlund through the middle, Xerxes in one of the number 10 roles alongside Garnacho. Doesn't exactly leave you much from the bench. But I think out of two options in this game, I would really rather see United go a little bit more aggressive towards the start and try and get the goal rather than maybe risk conceding one and having to chase it. I'd have less confidence in that. My prediction for this game. I think Old Trafford will be a 12th man. I think especially after the announcement of the stadium, there is now a ticking clock on European nights at Old Trafford. Now it's the Europa League. It's not what we want. And ultimately, I hope that we, in the next 3, 4, 5 years, however long it takes, maybe even longer than that, probably would be longer than that, at least 5 years, if not longer, I want more Champions League nights. But right now, we've got the Europa League. I'm going for a 2-1. 2-1? 2-1. 2-1 win. So, what's that? A 3-2 win on aggregate. That's what I'm going for. I'm not expecting it to be a free-flowing, brilliant United. I'm expecting it to be quite a nervy game. It's just like watching United right now. It's just, you have to get nervous watching us because it's just the truth. But that's the team I would start with. Heaven and Mazraoui are two wide centre-backs. De Ligt moving into the middle. Bruno Casemiro there. Delo and Dorgu as the wing-backs with Garnacho and Xerxes behind Højlund. I'm going for a 2-1 win. You let me know yours in the comments. But I will see you after the game and hopefully when United get through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League.